Hey guys, Space Fetus here, and today we're going to be building some landscape. Now, the video description says mountains, islands, but really this technique can be used to build anything from valleys to hills, really anything you want to build. I'll show you a few examples after we get going, just so you can sort of see what you could be using this for. But anyway, we're gonna get straight on. The first thing, if you've got one, try and use Heidi bumpers because, well, they just make life so much easier for building. You can actually see what you're doing. Now, we're going to go with a small island / mountain. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to mark it out on the floor. Like so. Because, really, if you don't mark it out, then you don't have a clue what sort of size or shape it's going to end up. And it can get a bit messy. So we're just going to mark out a sort of weird and random shape on the floor here, and then we're going to build it up, and I'm going to show you my technique for building natural looking mountains and landscapes. Okay, so we've got the basic floor pattern. It's alright, I guess, for a little island. Now obviously if you were going to be building an island, you would put water on this outside. If you were going to be building a mountain, maybe you'd put grass there like that. Obviously you adapt it to the needs for what you're going to be building. So you want to go up a few, and then you want to go in one, and then up and in and up, just like that. Now if you want to do a really tall mountain, then obviously you'll go higher on each of these ups. Now if you want to have a block to stand on, just whack it at the back, because this is going to be the inside of the mountain, so it doesn't matter if you put it in here, like so. And so that's a really tall one. Maybe you don't want QBs to be able to jump up, so they can't get up there. Now, that's for a slow incline. Now, if you wanted to have an overhang, which is very useful for small islands that you don't want people to get on. So, for instance, if you didn't want someone to come up onto this, you would just... I'll do it on this one. You would just whack in a few and go back the other way like that, because if that's low, so even if I could get up there, you know, it's got the overhang at the top here, so that's how you put an overhang on it. Now when you come in with the next one, you want to sort of follow the pattern you've got. So as you can see, like, you filled the gaps. You can go over the gaps or not over the gaps, but you have to obviously make sure that it lines up so that you've got all the holes filled. And now I'm going on the inside for the overhang, like so. Oh, and there we go. So we're already starting to build it up. Now it may not look like much now, but once you start putting them in, you follow the lines. As you can see, I'm just tracing it. It's once you've got your first one in, that's the hardest part. Obviously you got to remember, if you're building for specific reasons, as in you don't want QBs to get up, or you want QBs to be able to get up, you have to keep in mind how high each of these sections go. With Jumperman, you can't jump any higher than 5 blocks. So bear that in mind, depending on what you want to do with it. And then we're just going round, filling in. Now if it starts to look too blocky, because like this does a little bit, you can just sort of even it out, like so. Just have a play with it at the end of the day. It's your mountain, you know, you do what you want to do with it. So we're going up and up. I'll show you a few really good examples of this, because anyone that watches me build or visits any of my build knows that I'm a sucker for mountain blocks. I really love them. They're really good fun to build with. I do build mountains out of other blocks. You can, this isn't a tutorial to say only build out a mountain. You could use sandstone. You could use just sand. A favourite of mine is stone. I like to build with stone blocks. It's a bit more expensive, but it gives it an interesting mountain feel. It's very Minecrafty though, so depending on if you like that style of build or not. Right, we're coming up to a corner now. Corners are a little different, because you've got to get the seams right for the corner. But we're just tracing our path. Now, those of you that are thinking, oh, he's going too fast, I can't copy that. Well, you don't need to copy. Because one, this is definitely not going to be the shape of any mountain you've probably decided to build. And two, as I said, it's all about the technique. So you're just tracing. So every time you get to a hole, you've got to make sure that you fill that, you know, or you just trace the outline. Sometimes you want to go as high as the other one. Sometimes you want to go a bit higher just to get a bit of difference so it's not flat. Because obviously we could all just build mountains that look like this. But they don't look as nice. That doesn't look as nice as that, does it? So hopefully this technique will help you guys to be able to do that. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a hole here. So we fill it. And what you do once you get to this side bit is you go back up to the top and you just bring all your sides up to the top. Exactly the same technique. Exactly the same way that you've been doing it. But just up to the top, because that way you get a nice seamless side. Now it might change the shape a bit, but that's okay. The other thing to remember when building is to always accept that there are going to be changes. I don't ever go into a build thinking this is exactly what it's going to look like, and you know, I'm not going to make a single change. It's going to look like this. That's it. Because realistically, it just doesn't happen. Especially when free building, I build everything off the top of my head. I don't sit down with pen and paper. I don't use Magical Voxel. I don't use any of these programs. So, for me, although I can start with a basic idea, it's never going to end up exactly the way I thought it would, because ideas change and they evolve. And as you think, you know, as you're doing it, you think, oh, this would be cool, and you add it. And it's just a better way to build, I find. It's more creative. It lets the creative sort of energies flow. You know, you don't want to be restricting yourself by saying, oh, it has to look like this. Fair enough if you're building an exact replica of something from something else. If you're building something from a film or something from a game, then yeah, you're going to want it to look exactly the same because that's your purpose. But for everything else, allow for change. You know, you're going to want that change. I'm hoping to get a few more of these build videos done for you guys, because the few of you that watch them, I get really positive results, and I'm hoping that this one will be a little bit less expensive. I mean, some of the house builds I've been doing are quite expensive. If you don't have the resources or the money, they're not very easy to build. So hopefully this one's a bit more beneficial to a lot of you, because it's built entirely with things you can just go mine in 5 minutes. Obviously, if there's anything you do want to see, like you really want me to do a build tutorial on, just comment it in below. I'd really enjoy that. And we'll do one, and maybe we can give something cool away. Maybe we can build something and like with the house and give it away, because there was a lot of positive feedback for that as well. So just gonna carry on tracing. So you can see that because I've gone quite far out with this one, it's been quite overhangy. Now obviously if you want the shape of your curve, if you want a curve, then you have to obviously go back a bit. You know, if it's a straight line, then your mountain is going to come out with a straight line. But if you've got a bit of a shape to your baseline that you put down on the floor, then you're going to have a bit more shape to your build, which is why we always start with a little floor plan. Now, obviously, the higher you go on these blocks, the more inwards it'll pull the whole structure. So as you can see, because I'm going higher on these ones than the original one that I'm tracing every time, it means I'm going to get to the top quicker, which means it's going to pull that wall back in. So, you know, we've gone one above on this one, we've gone two above on this one, and as you can see, it's just pulled it back in by a block. So we've gone back one, and if I keep doing that, it's going to keep pulling it back. And likewise, if you undercut it, you're going to go forward a block or 2 blocks, or depending on how much you're undercutting by. But if you keep going over, you'll bring the wall back in, and if you keep going under, you'll push the wall out, depending on if you want a wide bit, if you want a sharp corner bit. Okay, so yeah, we're at the corner, so we've got to go back to the top and just line those corner ones up. Ooh. Now, Another thing I was thinking of doing is maybe building a realm, a special build tutorial realm where I'll leave all these builds with signs that sort of explain what I've done, so you can come back and look at them. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that. Again, comment below if you would like a visitable realm that has these builds in. For instance, there would just be this mountain and some signs explaining how it works. Maybe a few sort of semi-built ones, you know, to show you the progress. So if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know. Obviously, everything I do on this channel is for you guys. I want you to get the most out of it and enjoy everything that's here. So, yeah, let me know. Also, if you could sort of share it around, and if you're not already subscribing, if you could subscribe, because that would mean a great deal to me. I'd love to see the community on this channel grow a bit. We're currently at about 250 subscribers, so yeah, hit the likes, hit the shares, and let's hopefully, you know, push the community and get the numbers up. Okay. Another thing I like to do, and you're not going to really see it here because I haven't done I've done an overhang, not the other way, is how I put grass on things. I think I might be able to show you on the other side a little bit, yeah, because we didn't do quite as much overhang the other side. But I've got a special way that I like to do the grass and stuff on my mountains. And then obviously, nature decorations are entirely up to you. I have a very specific way of doing it. Again, I can do a tutorial on how I decorate if you want. You know, I do tutorials on anything, really. If you want a tutorial on how to spin around in circles 10 times, then I'd do a tutorial on that. You know, I really don't mind. Anything you guys want. Anything at all. So we're getting there. Now, obviously, if you want to have some really cool caves in your mountain, then that's a whole nother thing. What you want to do is, obviously, you get this inside structure from building the outside, as you can see. So what you would do is you would just, you know what, we'll do one. You just put the floor in, okay? So we're just going to put the floor in, because then we can double up and have a little cave, and I can show you guys how I do caves. Obviously, you're going to want your cave blocks, your stalagmites and your crystals, and I like to use bones and any other decorations for the inside. But we'll just do a simple undecorated cave in here. You know, why not? Why not? Let's double up. So that's why I like to build hollow, because if you decide I want a cave or I want something inside that mountain, you've already got all the space, it's already got the walls, it's there. So you just knock a hole in it, whack some floor in. Obviously, if you know you're going to have a cave and you build it first, you can do way more with it, because you're not restricted by the fact that you can only see through a tiny hole. But if you don't know you're going to have a cave, then you can still sort of get away with a little one. Right, here we go. So we put the floor in, and we're going to have a cave. Okay, so just got to turn that corner. And up and up and up. Now, this can get tedious. This can get very tedious. I just did a build which I won't be able to show you because it's super secret. You'll see it soon, but not yet. And I just used 85,000 blocks of mountain. So that, yeah, that was really fun. But exactly the same technique. You know, exactly the same as we're doing here. It really does scale to absolutely anything. So, you know, you can do it. You can do it big, you can do it small. What have we got here? We've got a bit of a weird corner, but that's okay. We can do weird corners. There you go. And turning the corner like so. And then we go out again. Okay, so we're going to put our cave here. We're going to have him just a little bit bigger. Just there. Okay, that's going to be where our cave goes. So up we go. Now my hope for you guys is that you'll watch these tutorials and you'll get inspired to build. You'll see that it's not quite so hard when you really know what sort of is going on, and you'll be able to come in and just, you know, start practicing, start building your own things. And that'd be really cool to see. I'd love to see more builds from everyone, because there's not enough builders out there, and I'd really like to inspire some more of you guys to do it. Okay, so cavey, cave, 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 cave. Cave, 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 cave. Okay. So we're going to do what we just done, but we're going to go this way. Okay, so that one's here. So we're just going to go like so. And then we're just going to make it all pretty on this side. You gotta sometimes do a bit on the inside as well. How does that look? Let's get one on the inside of here. Whack one down there. How does that look? Bit of grass, because that's where the edge would be. Not bad. Little cave. That's just obviously a quick cave. You can do crazy caves, anything really. And then we just carry on as we were. That's just a quick little cave to show you guys, since we're already here, so we may as well. And you just take the top of the cave up exactly as you were doing it. Now this technique can be used for a lot of things. This technique can even be used for gigantic trees. I'm currently building a big tree, and I'm using exactly the same technique. Exactly the same. Because it gets good curves, it just looks natural, and it actually works quite well for trees. So yeah, for any of you out there that want to build a big tree, just think of it as a gigantic wood mountain and build it exactly the same way. Gigantic wood mountain. Woo. And we're nearly done. We're getting there. We're nearly there. Okay, so coming up to the last. Here we go. We're not quite at the corner yet. See, so our cave's nicely tucked in there now. So if you want a bigger opening, then you just do a bigger opening. It's as simple as that. Nice and easy. Just layer in the mountain. Obviously, if you decide that you go back and you don't like bits, you add more, you knock them down. However you want to have it. Okay, and then we do the sides. As I said before, if you want to have something to stand on, you just whack a block there on the inside, because it's going to be on the inside, you're not going to see it. So rather than mess around with scaffolding, which takes a little bit of extra time to put it in, pull it out, just put your mounting on the inside. It'll save you a few seconds here and there, and that'll really help you out in the long run, because before you know it, you've shaved off quite a bit of time saved just by doing that. Okay, so we're going to start from this other side again, because I've got a feeling they're going to not line up very easily, because we didn't do an overhang quite so much here, did we? Okay, so let's try and put it back in. Another thing for you guys, if you're not using the Idify Betamax camera angle, you should start using it. It's very useful, especially for building. And obviously, if you're going to places like my builds, a lot of them are built with the Betamax camera in mind. So if you're not already using it, sometimes it can be harder to see things, because I use it to build. And so I assume people will use it to sort of be there. So it's always worth remembering the Betamax camera is an incredibly useful tool. Between that and the Heidi bumper are the most useful tools for building. Just gives you all the extra angles you need, as well as hiding your name, which gets in the way, as well as having other people around that can get in the way. There's nothing worse than trying to be building a really intricate small thing, and then you've got 10 people standing on it, and you can't really see what you're doing. So yeah, try and avoid having 10 people standing on anything. Obviously, don't just exclude all your friends. Don't hide away in locked realms, because that's no fun. I try to lock realms as little as possible, because it's no fun for anyone. Everyone wants to hang out, especially while I'm building. I want to be able to sit and chat to people. So if I am in your friends list, or you just happen to see me, don't be scared to stop and chat. I don't bite, and I'm happy to sit and talk to someone, especially since sometimes I've been working on a build for hours and I haven't seen anyone, so it's nice to be able to have someone to talk to. Just fill these holes in. Let's go up with this one. Make a few amendments here. And that is the mountain. Now, I'll just show you my grass technique. So if you've got not an overhang, I just like to put grass on it. So my general rule is, if the grass, let's see if I can find an example. No, there's not one. Okay, so grass like that is acceptable. Grass like that, no good. So if it's not going to have a gap above it, I don't put grass on it, basically. Oh no, here's one. Yeah, so I wouldn't put one there. I'd leave that hole, or I'd fill it in. I never put grass in a hole where it would then just be touching the top of a mountain block, because it just doesn't look right, and it just wouldn't happen. You know, grass doesn't grow like that, so we're not doing that. You just grass it, and it just makes it, I don't know, it just adds an extra thing. And then if you want to put trees on it, flowers, etc., you can decorate it. So that's sort of the two styles of building mountains: the overhang and then the just the normal one. If you guys, you know, depending on what you want to build, I've sort of shown you the technique for both. And then let's just run a bit of grass around the bottom, just for the, you know, grass's sake. May as well try and make it look a bit pretty while we're here. Don't know what I'm going to do with this new mountain that I've now just owned, but hey ho, maybe I'll keep it and make that build realm I said about. But there you go. Grass around the bottom. Oh yeah, we didn't grass the top, but obviously you would grass the top as many layers as you wanted, sort of thing, but we're not actually going to use it for anything, and you can't get up there, so because we did the overhang, so you can't climb up onto it. So I'm just going to leave it sort of plain. But yeah, that is how to build a mountain that isn't like this. How to build a mountain instead that's a bit more like this. And then we'll just go and have a quick look at a few other examples of where I've used this and what you can do with it. Okay, so a good example is Theatr Isles Raceway. As you can see, it's fully decorated, but it follows the exact same style, exact same pattern. Obviously, I've got all the grass on it, and it's all a bit different shape to the ones that we've done. But if you look at it, you can see the overhangs here. You can see sort of how it was built. And then, it's exactly the same technique. It's just different shapes. But, it looks the same. And we'll go and have a look at a slightly smaller scale one. And here again, tiny little versions, but built exactly the same way. Exactly the same. But they're just smaller. So as you can see, there are loads of different ways that you can go about doing it. You can build all sorts of shapes and sizes. I really hope this has helped you guys. Let me know down below if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want to see something else. Please hit the like, subscribe buttons, share around to your friends, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.